Second voice.
Second voice. Western countries, but even like Southeast Asia countries. Japan is still very different.
That we have an heritage in being very unrolled and very creative people.
Why football is so strong, why car industry is strong. It's something that starts from so far.
Cassian, 26. For now I just travel. I'm side hustler investor, so I just travel, yeah. I'm also trying to start into content creation and video making. It was not really in my plans at the beginning, but since I was Vietnam, it was kind of close. Japan, I found a cheap flight and I just flew to Japan, and it was also visa free, which was a big plus. So I said, okay, why not? And I just came to Japan. No expectation, nothing at all, just came. And it's very different than any other country I've seen so far. It's like being in another world. It's very different coming from Western world, Western countries, but even like Southeast Asia countries. Japan is still very different, very unique, I would say. Yeah, I would say the biggest difference is, of course, in culture, but especially people's behavior. They really know how to behave, let me say. For example, just the fact that everyone is queuing correctly at the bus station, at the train station, it's something that in the other countries you don't see. They just make a group and enter, for example, the bus or the train. But here they make straight queues everywhere. And in general, it seems like a very clean and organized country, and also very functional. For example, they're not noisy people. Okay, so the first thing that hit me when I arrived here, it was the silence. I arrived in Hiroshima. I was somewhere close to the center, and the streets were so silent, and I was wondering why, and I couldn't figure out. But then I realized that the Japanese, I would say that having rules, it's fine, it's okay. We need rules in society, but at the same time, I see Japanese people kind of limited, or I wouldn't like to say shy, because it's not about a person being shy, because once you initiate a conversation with someone, then they talk. It's not that the problem. It's more like a cultural fact that maybe talking to strangers, it's not something that common probably. So everyone minding its own business, you know, and not really socializing that much with strangers. I would say this is my biggest concern. In Italian, I would say judgment. Italians are very judgmental. It's pretty easy for them to judge anything. So in Japan, you can see people dressed up, I don't know, they're doing some cosplay, or they're acting something, or they're just expressing their way to be, you know, by dressing in some way, or having hair dyed or colored in some other way, being different, right? And it's totally okay. But in Italy, if you do like something that it's not common, so for example, dyeing your hair pink or dressing like as a cosplay, people will think you are weird, and put a label on you. I would say food, the best in the world so far. The culture, about the historical culture, so the Roman Empire, the ruins, the castles, also the nature that can be found in Italy. It's pretty unique. So yeah, that's the territory itself, I would say. And the bad part, I would say, yeah, the population, the people, because Italy's problems, they're all related to its people. So the government, so starting from the government, by the people who run the government, and also the people that elected the government, because you know they didn't put themselves there by their own. They've been elected by the people, and people in Italy have a really short memory. So if government do some bad decisions or yeah, put the country in a bad situation, after a few years people will forget and elect again maybe the same people. Yeah, it's not easy in Italy. Like the thing is that there is a lot of bureaucracy as well, and another bad thing is that we have rules, okay, we have laws, etc., but it's pretty easy to avoid them in Italy. So there is always one way to go around a rule or something that you could not do. So in the end, people just do whatever they want.
It's a good voice. My name is Julia. I am 37. My work. I work as a copywriter in a creative agency in Milan. I was here for a shooting, so I was here for work basically. It was digital content. So we have kind of a series we are doing for a brand we work for, and that's why we came to Tokyo. Yes, because it was an interview between two talents that are actually two pretty known artists, Japanese artists. So they've met and they had a conversation, and so I needed to be here in order to check on the conversation, on the content, on the. I mean, Milan is a city of fashion. No, I mean it's big. Japan is very big, speaking about fashion and all the design field. In Milan, it's a huge thing. Well, we have a very lively, of course, fashion and design scene. So every year there is design week, fashion week actually twice a year. So there's everything going on. But I think that also music, there's something. I mean, I'm actually very interested in music and the techno scene. So I would say to an average Italian person, probably not that much into design or fashion. I would say it's more about temples, something or kimonos, or more Kyoto than Tokyo at an image level. If you're not that much into the design, fashion, and art scene. It's much more about the traditional perception of Japan. So I would say something like this. Yeah, I mean Murakami, and also what's the name of the illustrator? The cartoon illustrator, like Kiki, Consegna a Domicilio, like exactly. So there's also this part, the manga scene, the gaming scene. It's more about and then there is of course also the car and the race side, but it's a bit more niche. I just think that we have an heritage in being very unrolled and very creative people when it comes to certain things, but it's just heritage. I don't know how to say. I mean, I don't think that right now. I mean, that right now there is more heritage probably than authenticity in the way people perceive Italian creativity and made in Italy. There is a lot of heritage, but I don't think that there is so much. I don't know, freedom and will to push boundaries as I've seen in other countries, in other cultures. So, well, hopefully it's good marketing. I don't know.
You're welcome, no problem. Edoardo, 58 years old. I come from Italy. I live an half hour close to Milano, north of Italy. I'm a journalist, sportive journalist. I'm editor and publisher because we have two magazines that talk about motorbikes and sport activities. We are here just for 1 week to spend good time in Japan, especially in Tokyo. We stay here just 3-4 days, no, and then we move to Kyoto and later on in Osaka, and then we fly back to Italy. It's uh, it's a nice experience because it's completely different compared to the Italian and the European lifestyle. You know, in Italy there are so many special cities like Rome, Firenze, Florence, Venice, Milano too, and we know what does it mean to have a really nice town, but uh, here is completely different the lifestyle compared to the Italian one, especially for culture, for the history, for because maybe because we are on the other half of the world and everything is completely different. Eat, dress, I don't know, wake up in the morning, go to the straight to the office. Everything is different compared to the Italian one. So we are really excited to see how is different to live here and to stay here in a country like Tokyo. Is the first step, our first step. uh, Monday we will be in Kyoto and we will see maybe something different, and then in Osaka. I can say something about it. It's so far from our culture. Fish, not cookie. It's so different compared to our country. Uh, it's different to stay in a restaurant. Uh, Sometimes we saw really small restaurant with so small table, so many people around the table that stay close one to another one to eat something and so on. And if you spend time in a city like Milano or in Italy generally, you don't have the same situation. It's completely different. And this is amazing for us. It's really strange because it's completely new. You know, you go to the restaurant and there are a completely new situation for us, but that is not, it's nice. It's different. It's different. When people match other people, stay in a good position, have a good movement, good words. Uh, in Italy, in Europe, it's a little bit different. There is a big respect here. Okay. It's like a big team. They think together. Maybe, yeah, maybe it's like this. In Europe, uh, it's not the same. I don't know if it's better in one side of the world or in another one. But for us that come from Europe, is a big surprise. It's a strange question because I'm born and I live in Italy. I like my country. There are so many opportunities to work. Yeah, we have sometimes a really bad political situation, but you know, when you are born and you live in one country, you love your country, you love the people that are close to you. Uh, yeah, I'm lucky because starting from when I was maybe 18, I start to fly around the world for my job, and I saw so many countries. But you know, when you move to foreign countries after 2 or 3 days, you want to back to your home country. That it means that you love your country. I want to stay in Italy for sure. It's one of the best places in the world. You have the mountain, in 300 or 400 kilometers you find the sea. There is a big history in the country, starting from Rome to Venice, Florence, Milan, Turin. Everything is so beautiful, and moving from one country to another one is completely different. The society, the people, and that is good. I love it. When you stay in one place, you would like to have something more each day. But if I stop and then think about that, I can say it's a good place. I love to stay in Italy. Yeah, political, but you know, 1 year is in one way, 2 years later something changed. It's not a problem that only Italy have, as there are so many countries. You know, we are the war. 1,000 kilometers from Italy, there is Ukraine, that in this moment is in a bad moment. So it's not easy to speak about political. Each of us would like to have something more each day. We have to stop and to think about that and to say, okay, I'm in a good, I'm safe and in good pace, and I can live in this way. Yeah, it's great. I don't know. Maybe it's a long story that started in the past. In our country, there is since so many years a strong tradition in car, in motorbike industry. Sport is good, especially in football, because in Italy there are something like 60,000 million people, and 50,000 are coach and trainer, because everyone think about football and so on. I don't know why we have that tradition, but I'm old. I'm too young to answer to your question. I don't know why football is so strong, why car industry is strong. It's something that starts from so far, and then I don't know. But you know, you have to back to the Giulio Caesar, you know, starting from Rome, and in that days maybe the Italy is born in that way, and after so many years we are also in a good position to speak about artists and so on. It's the history of our country.